Hello everyone, welcome to the Chicagoland Weather Stand. As the name suggests, this is a weather channel specifically addressing the weather of the Chicagoland area. I will be addressing northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and northwestern Indiana. And in today's video, I want to talk about a growing severe weather risk that is going to be occurring Monday of next week. So let's dive right into it. You may be wondering, if this is a local weather channel for the Chicagoland area, why are we looking at the entire United States? And good question. The answer to that is, I want to show you the system, which is very large, and it's only going to be able to be shown by looking at the United States. I want to show you this system that will be impacting us next week. So notice that across the western United States, we have a quiet pattern right now, but in the next day or two, essentially we have a system that starts developing across more or less a four corners area. There's a lot of moisture, residual moisture from several systems hanging out around the United States. We just had that massive warm up across our area here in the Chicagoland area. Very, very, very warm temperatures, and that is going to help fuel these storms into next weekend, as it's not going to be fighting against an atmosphere that is not conducive for these. And notice, as I quickly put this forward, we have snow across the Rockies, but more importantly for our area, you could see we start seeing a low pressure developing, 997 millibars, not really crazy strong, but for spring, you don't need that strong of a system to develop these nasty storms, especially when you have such good dynamics like we have right now with the moisture, the warm temperatures. And you could see that with just a little bit of oomph, essentially with this system that will be providing us, we see an explosion right across the Chicagoland area with those yellows on Monday evening and afternoon. In light of this risk, the Storm Prediction Center, which we have showing up right here on our main screen, has given the Chicago area anywhere, depending on where you exactly live, anywhere between a 30 to 15% chance of severe weather 4 days out. This is for Monday. Usually, the Storm Prediction Center doesn't issue out a 4-day outlook, especially one with 30%, unless the confidence is pretty high. So I'm telling you right now, this is definitely going to be an event that could cause some damage. So if you want to start preparing your garden, your patio, your furniture, whatnot for this event, as there will be hail, tornado, wind risks with this, I would advise you to do so. You could see that this could definitely shift further north and put us more in that bullseye, especially across downtown. But again, the western areas of the viewing area will be getting impacted by this quite a lot regardless. So now I want to look a little closer in on the region, and using the North American model 12KM, the NAM, we can see that I have this positioned at around the 60 to 70 hours out. This would lead us into early Monday morning of next week. Again, Monday is when that severe weather risk is the highest, and you can see that it is at this current stretch would be across Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and into our viewing area, especially the western reaches. It could start approaching it potentially as early as 10 to 11 a.m. So this won't be like a late severe weather event, right, that occurs late at night. We've recently been having those the last few weeks where the severe weather has come in around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and the rest of the day was quiet. We could have this a little earlier on in the day, it looks like. Again, stay tuned for updates, as I will be making more videos about this. The first wave, again, could come in 1, 2, even not even just the western areas, but further along the shore. And once that passes through, we are potentially looking at some sort of even supercell development across northern Illinois out ahead, where this warm front and cold front will be diverging. You can see the low pressure is right here. Cold front would be dragging here, warm front here. So definitely risk for some nasty storms. Usually these ones out ahead of the main event are the ones that actually end up being nasty. So you can see that the NAM is definitely showing that. And then it starts showing more of a hybrid event where two cold fronts are developing. One cold front, but I guess a second smaller one out ahead of it. And you can see that these storms at this point would be more linear, so the wind would be a higher risk with this. And you can see that as this pushes through into Illinois and Indiana. At this hour, it would be 10 o'clock, so a little later now, the usual time, it seems, as if the Chicagoland area gets its severe weather. And by the time we get towards Tuesday, it is mostly done and over with. In case you wanted to look at how much rainfall could fall, if you're a gardener, I know I'm a gardener, I might make this channel a little bit more attuned to people that like gardening across the forecasting area, because I feel like people don't do that, and I really like gardening. That's why I got into the weather originally, at least partly. So you can see that this could be potentially a very heavy rainmaker. If you want rain, that's good, but a lot of areas have seen a lot of rain in the last few days here, weeks I should say, so this may not be wanted by everyone. And in the meantime, on the shorter term into this weekend, if you're wondering about plans, you can see I'm going to use the HER model right now. So this is a short range model, and I'm going to run this through showing the next 48 hours as we have the time frame right there. Sunday, this is early Saturday morning, 7, 8 o'clock. It will be essentially precipitation free this weekend. So if you have plans or whatnot, you are going to be lucky because we're not going to see any rain. You can see some trying to make its way from Iowa. That won't reach our area, and it will stay high and dry. Now let's take a look at the temperature because that is going to be also a story to keep track of as they have been quite violently swinging back and forth these last few weeks here. So today across the area, very warm. Not quite as warm as yesterday. Yesterday felt like complete summer. When I mean yesterday, I mean Thursday, the 23rd of April. So you can see into the overnight hours, it cools down into the 50s. Not really anything dramatic. Not as warm of a day tomorrow, most likely, as today, especially for the folks along the lakeshore area. There will be a lake breeze. So, yep, that is that classic Chicago setup where in the spring, the suburbs can be in the 70s and in the city it's in the 50s. That northeasterly wind. The lakes are still cold. Actually, the surface air across much of them are a few meters above them. In the middle of them are still in the 30s. So cold, cold, cold water. If you get a wind off of the lake, it cools everything off with it. And then into Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday, we get even cooler. No frost though. No barbaric cold for this time of the year by any means. Just more seasonable. We've been pretty spoiled with the warmth. And then Sunday also looks like a pretty warm day, with potentially a lake breeze making a impact across the eastern or western lines of the shores later in the day, but probably warmer than Saturday. So, but again, staying dry for now, and we will be keeping track of that severe weather for you guys as we get towards Monday, as that is the next big event to worry about. I will obviously keep you guys updated. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing. It's a new channel. Hopefully it can at least help some people. And since it's a local one, share with your friends, family, neighbors. Maybe they will appreciate the weather forecast here. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.